Welcome to Two Crazy Scoops Podcast with your hosts, Ayo and Antino. This week, we got a couple of good stories. We're going to talk a little bit about the iPhone 12, the Mandalorian, and Brazil. So stay tuned. We'll find what all those things have in common coming up next.
They actually have nothing in common.
Hi, and welcome to Two Crazy Scoops Podcast. This is Antino. I'm actually genuinely not saying, I'm saying Ayo by accident because I'm used to saying this is Ayo and Antino, but I introduced myself as Ayo, so sorry about that.
That's okay. I'll be Antino this week.
Cool. So, this week, Aaron, we've got to recap based off of our last episode. I know that we had talked about some suggestions, and I had suggested Khan Academy. It actually is called that, and I got some feedback from one of our listeners. He says he's actually learning how to code using that website. So that's one thing. And another suggestion, because we were asking whether we could actually have a cooking contest on, or a baking contest, or a chili contest, or who knows what, on Zoom. Mm-hmm. We had a listener suggest that you have a speed, whoever could do it the fastest, cooking something. Although I'm not really sure what that would be or how you'd go about doing that.
Yeah, because the thing is, how do you prove that it's cooked?
Speed and presentation.
Because I can just burn something on the outside, like burn a burger on both sides real quick and be like, all right, it's done.
Watch Aaron cook a steak in 2 minutes.
Right, exactly. It'll look done. But, so I don't know how that would work.
Call me George Foreman. Okay, let me see.
There is a way to do it, though. I almost feel like each person would need to prepare a meal and record themselves doing it, or have someone record them as they make the meal, and then send me the video, or send one of us the video, and then let them.
You said you, and then you're like, I don't want to work on that.
Yeah,
send one of us.
One of us, aka send it to Antino, and he will edit it. Maybe speed it up a little bit. And we can probably do it that way.
Interesting.
And then we'll talk about it on like we're doing now, but then we can just have it, like I can have it on my phone, for example, and we can just kind of speed it up, just have the audio playing real quickly. Maybe put a clip of it on the Instagram.
There you go. We'll have you making some potatoes in 12 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, instant is cheating, obviously.
Okay, and then for the topical news this week, we have something I'm very excited for, which is the iPhone 12. I'm not excited for the reason you may think I'm excited for it. Because now that it's out, there are so many videos of people destroying iPhone 12s on the internet. And I always enjoy watching those every time a new one comes out. Actually, my friend Danny just sent me one where they put an iPhone 11. It's not a 12. It was from a year ago, I guess. They put an iPhone 11 in a blender. You'd think that it would explode, but...
Well, it depends on what kind of blender. Was it a Blend Tech? Was it a Vitamix? That makes a difference.
I have no idea. I didn't know you were that skilled in your blender terminology.
Yes, I have a Vitamix here, and I think that could destroy an iPhone.
Well, there's only one way to figure it out.
Let me see your phone. Oh man.
Yeah, they have like ones where people drop them from their waist, and then they go up on a ladder, like each rung, and then they drop it and see if it breaks or not. This one seems to be pretty durable, so it's been kind of disappointing.
Well, that's what they advertised when they announced it. They kept saying this is like our strongest phone ever, like the glass is. So that's why everybody this year wanted to test it out. So, and we're not talking about the glass on the back of the phone. We're talking about the front of the phone. The glass on the back is still the same glass from last year.
And what was that all about?
Like,
was that supposed to be super durable as well?
It is, but it hasn't changed from last year. Last year they talked about how durable, but this year on the screen they did like a ceramic glass combination on the screen, which makes it more durable. Now, if they use all ceramic, then it would be super tough. So the ceramic is what they actually use on the Apple Watch. So if you have an Apple Watch, that glass on there is ceramic. So it's
Hmm.
very durable. That way you can hit it against stuff and it's not going to easily scratch. So they did a similar, like a hybrid version of that technology. But to do the entire screen like that would be very expensive. But they did like a hybrid. So the screen is supposed to be even more durable. Sorry, that's the nerd part of me coming out. But
I'll cut all that out.
oh god,
So, have you made a video yet smashing an iPhone 12, Aaron?
I have not. I don't have one,
Oh, well,
and I'm
there's
gonna
still
sell
time.
mine. I'm selling mine when I'm done with it, so there won't be any smashing.
Nice. So, in the next news that we have is The Mandalorian season 2 is coming out, which we already talked about The Last Jedi,
Season two
or
is out today.
it's out today. Okay, so we already talked about The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I have started watching The Mandalorian. I think I'm on 4 episodes now. And like I said, when I am reviewing things, I am going to try to be positive first, and then I'm going to just pick it apart a little bit.
Mhm.
So far, the thing that I do oddly enjoy about it is the fact that it's not a bingeable show because it's kind of boring, but also interesting. So it's like I just feel like I can sit down and watch 1 episode and I'm like, you know what? I'm satisfied. They didn't make me ask too many questions and they didn't answer too many questions. And what are your thoughts, Aaron?
I disagree. I think it is bingeable, but I will say this: when I watched it last year, it they only released one episode a week, and I think that's what they're doing this year. But I'm not 100% sure. But I think that's what they're doing.
Hmm.
And so that was the only option, was to watch one episode a week. And but I kind of get what you're saying from the standpoint of, yes, after an episode I was like, okay, that was good, and I was like, okay, but I could have easily watched 2 episodes at least.
I don't know. I've tried, and there's enough happening in it to keep me entertained, but not enough to make me be like, okay, I need to see what happens next. And I like the, I don't know. It's just like the art style's really cool. The music's really well done. The characters are pretty cool in it, obviously, and you get to a little bit of the backstory about the Mandalorians and stuff like that. I think that Star Wars shouldn't be in movies. I think that it should just be TV shows, and then it builds up to movies. Like because there's so much story that you can't just cram it into 3 hours, 2.5 hours. You know?
That's a good thought. I have to
Well,
think
for
about that.
instance, like you think about Star Trek, right? And you have Trekkies, and they all like it because they just delve into different episodes of different things dealing with that universe, right?
Hmm.
So I think Star Wars is more geared towards that kind of a thing rather than like watching two people lightsaber fight and then come back 6 episodes later or six
I, I
movies later.
I think you need a combination of both. I think you can definitely tell a lot more details with the shows, and that's what they've been doing for a while now. If you think about the Clone Wars, you think about Rebels, which both of those do tie into the Mandalorian too, by the way. So if you
Oh,
watch those, like if you watch Rebels, I think it's like 4 seasons of it. There's things in it that are going to tie into the Mandalorian that you'll understand more if you watch those. Now, I will admit I have not watched all of Rebels,
yeah.
but I've seen enough of it to see how it ties into this too.
Oh,
So,
being like a passive fan as I am, I'm probably not going to watch those. But
right. Well, you don't have to, but I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. Like that does tie into this, to everything. So, um, Star Wars has been a show before the movies came out. You know what I'm saying? Because the Clone Wars, just because, don't let the fact that it's a cartoon fool you. Yes, it's a cartoon, but it's a show, and it tells the same story. It's just animated. Same thing with Rebels. Those are shows, and those came out before these last movies. So just like
mhm.
Star Trek, you had the show, and then you had the movies to go along with it. Um, for Star Wars, the same thing can happen. You can have the show, but you can also make more movies. I think the problem was is that they were trying to continue the Skywalker saga, and so that's why it was so controversial. But if
Yeah.
you notice, let's see, what was it? Not the Han. No, there wasn't a Han Solo movie. There was no wait. What was some Solo?
Yeah, it was Solo.
There
Yeah.
was a Solo movie. It was yeah.
Like that
So
should have been a
Solo,
TV show.
yeah. So Solo should have been a TV show. Like that could have been a series on Disney Plus. But everyone did like what was the one before that? The movie they made before that?
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Everyone loved Rogue One. And it did really well at the box office. So a lot of fans like that.
Yeah. Well, I think what they did is they took characters that you didn't know too well or didn't know about at all and just made a story out of it. But if you really want to delve deep into one character that you've already made a movie about, like why make another movie about this person, you know?
Oh no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I think there's room for both.
Hmm.
Like I think they can tell a new story that has nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
Well, that's why I think it's cool though, is because it's not. Wait, just 1 second. Sorry, I realized I didn't mute something. There we go. Anyways, we're back. I'm gonna edit that out. I'm just getting all these dumb notifications, and I have too many now.
Well, I didn't. For the record, I didn't hear anything.
But it'll hear it on my end is the problem.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Anyways, what was I talking about? I was talking about Han Solo, the movie. Oh, the thing I liked about The Mandalorian, though, is that they're not delving deep into Boba Fett. They're just delving deep into the Mandalorians as a whole. So it's
Right.
not like you're going back and being like, oh, this is what he did before. It's like, no, this is the continuation of what's gone on beforehand, thus showing that he's not like the only one, but what his purpose kind of was or what he broke away from. I guess I'll figure that out later in the show.
Yeah, he might be mentioned at some point, maybe.
I'll never know because I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah. So I
So
said,
the only thing, now I'm going to get to the other part of it, is that for someone who's supposed to be like the main character and like he's not bad, but he's not good, like he sure does get punched around a lot.
mhm.
Like I thought they're like your reputation precedes you or whatever, and then talking about how great he is, and they're like not just anyone can do this, and then the next thing he's like getting dragged by some big old monster. I'm like, I thought you were the best.
Well,
And
I
then
mean, he got out of it, didn't he?
no, Baby Yoda saved him.
Um,
And then the other guy saved him, the nobody who was on the planet.
um, that don't mean you're not the best. It just means that he.
It's very convenient that all these
Could've-
people are standing by to help him. So
Well,
it's
they
not that
gotta-
he's great, it's just everyone around him is.
But they got to give Baby Yoda some type of, background and information on what he can do. So that's all that was a convenient way to showcase what he was capable of. That's about it.
Another thing is they basically ripped off Batman, but that's just my opinion. It's a total Batman vibe. I was like, this is Batman. I am watching Batman. This is Batman. He's got the whole grappling thing. He's got the like kind of deep voice. He's got the mysterious I'm bad, but I'm also not good. Or I'm not bad, but I'm not good. I'm a mercenary. I kind of like work on both ends of everything. I have a ship. I care about people too. I'm an orphan kind of.
But those are very.
He is Batman. I don't care what you say. He's got the cape.
Yeah, but no.
There's a scene where he's going up the Jawa ship and he's just grappling up like Batman does. And then he gets beaten up by all these Jawas.
I,
He's getting beaten up by everyone. You're like 2 episodes in. He's supposed to be the greatest guy and he's getting beat up by everybody.
the thing is, he is. You have to see. Well, you have to see it, but I think they did that on purpose. They wrote it like that on purpose, so that they could
Like-
showcase what his friend, his new friend, can do. So I think that's part of it, and to make it entertaining. But I mean,
I wasn't entertained. I was like, I'm just going to watch Batman again. Why am I watching this?
no, this takes place in a whole different.
His like parents get shot in an
Batman is
alley by the
Batman.
penguin or something.
Batman is. That did not happen. Batman is in a whole different universe. A whole different universe.
It's the
No,
same.
no, it's
And
not.
another thing is they like went full like minions route with the Jawas,
Yeah, and by the way, keep talking. I just give me 1 second, but keep talking.
filling
Keep,
in this
keep
empty
going.
space,
Yes, keep
filling in this empty space. So Aaron can go run off, even though he can't hear. Oh, he's getting another package. This guy gets packages all the time. It's Amazon, it's Uber Eats, it's Postmates, it's the actual mailman. It's anything and everything. Actually, it might be his SD card that we were just talking about. In which case, if he gets that SD card, you'll be able to hear both of us in a pretty good quality here coming up. And Aaron's back.
Sorry,
So
Grubhub delivery. My fault.
I knew it. I called you out on it. Okay. Actually, I didn't even say Grubhub. I think I said Postmates and Uber Eats. I didn't think you did Grubhub, but now I know. If you'd like to buy Aaron's next meal, I'm going to get a giant pizza with anchovies on it, just covered in extra anchovies delivered to your house.
I like anchovies, and you know I like anchovies.
Not that many anchovies. Anyways, we were talking about the Mandalorian. They went the whole minions route with the Jawas. Like, these are just the minions all over again.
Dude, you're just comparing it to random other fictional characters. It's
Okay.
not. It's different. It's in the Star Wars universe. They're flying from planet to planet. It has nothing to do with Batman, nothing to do with the minions. It's its own thing.
Whatever. And then, the last thing I'll say is that it has a flashing lights warning at the beginning. And normally, like, there is flashing lights. But this was pretty intense when they're hammering like his armor. I think I almost had a seizure. I don't know why. It just seems like way worse than any other show I've ever watched. I was like, "Oh gosh." So, just be warned. That is actually a legit warning that they're giving you at the beginning, so wear sunglasses.
Yeah, it is not that serious.
It is. They're like, "Bam." And then he's like him and he's a kid and then it's like, "Bam." So, I'm just 4 episodes in. I do like it so far because I like Batman. So I will give my update when I finish the other 4 episodes. I guess I'm only halfway through. This may take me another 4 weeks considering, it's a very slow show. Nothing happens in any episode, okay? I'm fine with it. I just want to let you know nothing happens in any of the episodes. I was watching it with Anna and I was like, he basically went and saved the kid and then got saved by his friends and then flew off. That was the episode.
And I mentioned this to you before, but like I just have to say, because we weren't recording when I said that, but part of the appeal of The Mandalorian is that everyone was talking about it while it was airing at the same time. And the whole thing with Baby Yoda, that was unknown to everyone when it first came out. So about a year ago, just because that's how long it's been since it first debuted, there were Baby Yoda memes exploding everywhere. And if you weren't watching The Mandalorian, you had no idea what they were talking about or why they were showing that or why that was popular.
Yeah.
So part of the appeal of The Mandalorian is that all this stuff we got everyone found out at the same time, everyone who was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're coming in after the fact, the whole thing with Baby Yoda is not a big deal to you. It's like you already knew he existed and you already knew where he was from. Whereas we didn't, no one had ever seen this character before. And in fact, it's so funny because Disney, they even were surprised at how much it blew up because they didn't have any merchandise or anything ready to go. You couldn't buy any merchandise for The Mandalorian or Baby Yoda or anyone in the beginning because they didn't realize that that was going to explode across the internet. But Star Wars fever was kind of high. The movie was about to come out in 2 months, the last movie, and everyone had high expectations for it.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it from the kind of like the lens of that time period, then I think it would have been a little bit different.
We're
Versus,
talking about like we're talking about the 80s. This was just last year.
no, I know, but I'm just saying. But still, when you watch, it's the same. Other shows are like that too. It's like, we can talk about old shows, but if we were there back in the day when they were airing on TV and everyone was talking about it at work or school the next day, it's like it's just a different feel,
Yeah.
you know. But anyway, that's kind of a side point and a little tangent, but I just wanted to throw that out there. That to me that does affect the show.
Hmm. So my overview is, if you like westerns, if you like Batman, and if you like the Minions, then this show is for you. But if you don't like one of those three,
I don't
steer
like
clear.
I don't like the Minions, and I enjoyed the Mandalorian.
If you don't like any of those, steer clear of the show.
And honestly, I really am not a huge Batman fan. Like I will watch the movies, but once, and that's it.
Yeah, but it's basically Batman. Anyways, if anybody else agrees with me, tell Aaron he's lame. Call his personal phone while he's at work,
I,
or preferably at 2 in the morning.
you will be ignored either way. Oh man. Oh, by
So
the way,
yeah,
speaking of Batman, I'm sorry, this is not what we're going to talk about, but did you know that there was another Batman show before Adam West did it?
no, I really don't know that much about Batman lore, like the cartoon ones.
No, well, Adam West. So the one where they hit the person and it says "pow" on the screen, or
Yeah, I never saw those ones.
you never watched those? Okay,
Uh-uh.
but those were pretty bad, but funny, but bad. But there was actually one before that, and I was watching it somehow on my Roku. I forgot what channel it was on, but there was actually a Batman show from 1949. It looks absolutely terrible, but it's worth watching for the laugh of it, just to get a good laugh.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very bad. You should see. Oh, dude. Hold up. Let me see if I can. Anyway, we will go to. We can still move on, but if I can pull up a picture of it, I'll show it to you.
Sorry, I didn't turn the notifications off on this other one. Jeez. Notifications, notifications. Turn them all off. How do you do that at once? I don't know. Okay, and we're back. Let me see, let me see. Look off. I guess I did it wrong because it's still going off. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one, that's why. Notifications, turn them all off. How do you do that? I don't know. I think I'm doing it right now, but we'll see. Okay. So, our next segment, Aaron, is going to be about Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many times had you gone, did you say?
Don't ask.
Okay. Moving on.
I've been 5 times.
Oh, wow. You're showing me the actual Batman and Robin from 1949, and it looks like it literally looks like two mascots at a cheap fast food restaurant. Like the costumes are that bad.
Like you can't find costumes this bad now, but this is 49. So they were. This is when they were still, because he was also, he was a detective. Batman was really a detective,
Oh,
and so
you don't say.
yeah, and so this was still new. This was the first series of Batman. Look how he was. Oh man,
It literally looks like two guys just dressed up running outside.
yeah, it looks like ridiculousness. That's what it looks like. Now, according to this, there was actually, and I could be wrong. There, this is saying there might have been one before the 1949 one, but this is the earliest that I found. So I'll have to look and see. So yeah, so if you ever watched the Adam West Batman, if you thought that was bad, this looks even worse. But I'm gonna actually watch it, and or I don't
Give
know.
you a review about a show
I will
that no one's ever gonna see.
yeah, exactly. That's okay. We'll put clips on Instagram so they can see clips of it. Um, yeah,
You know what? I should probably I'm gonna look that up and I'll find clips and I'll put those as the stories announcing our episodes, like I did with the um, Spider-Man last season.
yeah. I watched like 10 minutes of this first episode, of this version. So this one right here. So apparently there was one before the one I just showed you. There was one from 1943, which I didn't see that one, but the one from 1949, it was pretty bad. Um, yeah. So anyway, that can be a future episode, or we can just look at some of these old shows and make fun of them. All right. How do
Awesome.
I stop sharing?
That the picture in the middle right there, the one where he's looking down.
Which one?
Oh, the one where he's looking down like that. Just the ears look so funny.
Yeah, they're like this. It's like, when have you ever done Batman like that before? Ridiculous. But well, yeah, we'll make fun of that later. Anyway, I
Okay,
just thought about that.
that's for a future episode. We'll watch it. We'll review it. How many episodes are there in that one?
I don't know. Um, I only saw one season.
Okay,
Um,
New Adventures of Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder, also known as simply Batman and Robin, is a 15-chapter serial released in 1949. It is a sequel to the 1943 serial Batman, although with different actors.
oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. So I haven't found a 1943 one yet, but uh, so it's only one. So it's only 15 episodes. So they didn't really do. I don't know if they did series like that or not back then. I don't know.
Well, we have more episodes than this show, so booyah. Oh, wait, than that show.
They called them serials. We don't say serial anymore.
I guess not. Well, this will be serial number one
Right,
or
exactly.
two.
But anyway, so Brazil.
Brazil. So I went to Brazil once last year, and it was more of like a touristy thing, I'd have to say, because of the convention that I went to. So I was kind of, I don't want to say isolated from like the culture, but I got to see it and I got to experience it, but I wasn't like living the life of a Brazilian. Let's just say that. You
You,
know,
you didn't go to the favelas or anything.
no, I didn't go to the favelas. And someone was asking me, they're like, "What is a favela?" And I was like, "I don't know. I think I forgot what it was." And they're like, "I listened to this song and it says favela in it." And I was like, "You probably should stop listening to that song."
Oh, the favela isn't bad.
I know. It's just it was funny. I just like to mess with people. But
It's
would you like to
basically,
describe what a favela is, Aaron?
I mean, it's basically like the slums. Like, it's like ghetto, but to the 10th power.
So in the Hulk movie, the one with
Yep.
what's his name?
I forgot his name too, but
Who
yes,
cares?
it
Anyways,
takes place in Brazil though.
it's in Brazil, yeah, and that's the favela where he's living
Those
at.
are
Is it's
yep,
the houses stacked on top of the houses.
yep, yeah.
So
It's like the Brazilian slums. That's the only
yeah,
way to describe it.
but like in New York, you have like apartment buildings are stacked on top of each other, but these houses are like on a hill,
Yeah,
ascending up the hill, basically.
exactly. And some of them are ran by their own. Like, there is a slumlord who runs them.
Are you sure about this, Aaron?
I'm positive. I'm positive. Like, not every single one, but a lot of them are ran by their own people. Like, the head of like the gang or the slumlord. I mean, that's what they're called, slumlords.
Man,
But
I gotta move to Brazil.
in Brazil, they're not. There's another word for them, but that's essentially, yeah. In fact, some of our friends. Let me see if I can see what it's called. There is a word for the guy who. I can't remember what it's called. There's a word for it. I have to look it up. Well, I'll put it this way. Sometimes when our friends want to go there to visit, they have to actually talk to the slumlord, not the police, not the government, the slumlord to get access to go.
Does he like being called that?
No, that's not the word, but that's what he is.
Hello, Mr. Slumlord.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, yeah. That's essentially what he is. And he has to give permission, like, yes, you can come today and visit, or no, you can't come today and visit.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not all of it is not policed, at least not by the government. They have their own independent policing.
Hmm.
And again, I'm not talking about all the favelas, but a lot of them, the real famous ones
Yeah.
that are really well known, those are controlled independently.
What are some well-known favelas?
Well, it's just the ones, like for example, like the ones they showed in Rio, that like that area right there.
Uh huh.
Um, and I can't think of the names. The name I'll look it up and I'll get you some name, like the actual names of them.
Yeah.
But I, of course, I didn't go. I just saw them and people pointed them out to me and told me about them. But I didn't actually go myself, obviously, because I didn't want to get shot.
And what areas did you go?
I went to Rio, Sao Paulo, and I did a lot of the touristy stuff in those areas. So I went to go see the Hayden Thor, the Christ, the giant Christ statue.
Oh,
Um, went to um, Impanema,
Ipanema.
Ipanema. Thank you. Went to the beach there. Went to what Sugarloaf, uh,
Maybe the what?
Sugarloaf, like the Sugarloaf Mountain.
Never heard of Sugarloaf Mountain.
Um, yeah, it's a tourist attraction. You just have to
Huh.
Google it.
Like I said, I didn't. We didn't really do that much touristy stuff. We just saw a lot of different areas, but not like the sites, so to speak. I guess you could say.
Mhm. Um, yeah.
But something that was interesting to me when we went to Sao Paulo was that it was. I mean, I'm not saying that I just assume everything isn't okay. I'll just start off by saying I don't know too much about a lot of different areas. I've been called ignorant more than once about a lot of different things. But when it comes to traveling the world, I don't really know too much. I just know about what I've seen on television or things like that. Now, I haven't really seen too much about Brazil. There's like when I was a kid, there was this musical, this Disney musical or something that had those birds. I don't know, but they went to Brazil, and I used to watch that. I didn't realize it at the time.
Oh, Rio?
Yeah, no, 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 no. It's this old classic movie that we used to rent. It has like Donald Duck and then this green bird who's from uh, Brazil, some part in Brazil.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about an old cartoon.
It's like a 1950s cartoon, and I'm pretty sure it's some kind of cultural appropriation in there somewhere.
Of course. That's why do you notice that Disney warns like every
They're just
watch
like the
certain things?
thoughts,
Yeah. And I love the way they word it. They'll say like, "Oh, this show depicts outdated,
views on.
stereotypical characters or whatever."
Yeah.
Like Dumbo, for example, where all the crows and they're all
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're supposed to
Stuff like
portray
that.
black people and all this other stuff. So
Interesting.
it's okay. It's all right. We're good now.
So I'm hearing an echo. Are you? Oh no, never mind. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so I don't really know too much about it. It's not that I thought that it was like a third world country where there's no development, but when we went there, I was, I guess, kind of surprised. It reminded me a lot of New York.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Like a
but it,
tropical New York.
huh. And you could just walk around, and we went to like some malls and stuff, and
Hmm.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's not that I'm shocked. I don't know. I don't know what I thought. Like there's like a cell phone store, and I'm like, oh cool, a cell phone store, and people were getting their SIM cards or whatever so they could make calls in Brazil.
yeah. I mean, it's very developed. It's very
Yeah.
developed. Yeah, it's I'm trying to see if I can see. I know it's one of the largest cities in the world, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what number where it falls in line. But yeah, now there are certain just like with any country, including the U.S. Once you get outside some of the major cities, you can see some areas that are not as developed and are not as well kept.
Yes.
And so when I was there, I did go to one of the poorest areas in the country, but we'll talk about that later. Or are
Let
we
me see.
or are we going there now?
We can go there now because I was actually trying to look at the places. We just kind of went like north and or Guarulhos. That was where we flew out of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I don't know. Again, I went. It's just funny. I haven't traveled out of the country a lot, and everywhere that I have gone, like I only went to Mexico like once when I was a kid, so I was not responsible for making travel plans or where we were going and stuff like that because it was just me and Anna.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're ordering food, it's kind of like, I mean, I knew some Portuguese, and Anna knows a lot more than me, so she had to order for us everywhere we went. But it's just funny that if you can't figure out a word, you have to figure out the word. You can't just bounce back to like, oh, I mean, like, I just want a steak. It was funny because they were like, well, what kind? How do you want your burger? And it was like, I think I forget what it was, but I always wanted it well done. But then it was always like
Being faithful.
bang fate, yeah, something like that.
So I just found a list, and it's number 19 in the world. Surprisingly, Sao Paulo, which I didn't realize this, Sao Paulo is way bigger. One, two, three. Sao Paulo is the fourth largest city in the world.
Oh wow,
Behind, well, guess what number one is?
the biggest like Hong Kong.
The biggest city in the world. Oh, you said Hong Kong. You're asking, is it Hong Kong?
Yeah,
Oh, no. There are some Chinese cities up near the top, but Hong
Hong
Kong,
Kong's a city, right?
it's not one of them. Yeah,
Okay,
it is. It's a city in China, but it's not. It's not up. It's big, but it's not like.
I
Uh,
don't think New York is the biggest city.
nope. Sao Paulo is bigger than New York City.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because even though New York looks big, it's actually relatively small considering Manhattan's not super
Well, no.
huge.
Well, New York City is number 10 in the world, so that's big.
Oh, okay.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
Is this in the nothing to sneeze at? What do you sneeze at, Aaron? Okay, but
Oh, and to be fair, the difference between like, let's say New York City, and then one, two, three, four, like four positions up, is less than a million. So it's number 10, but it's very close to the
oh, you
six,
just
like
kill a
six, seven,
couple
eight, nine,
thousand
and 10.
people, and
Yeah, they're all very close.
um,
So, so I'll tell you, number one is Tokyo
oh,
with 37. Let me see, with about 37 million people
okay.
in the metropolitan area, and then followed by Delhi, India, um, Shanghai, China, and then Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah, ridiculous. And so Sao Paulo has what, 21.6 million. Yeah, that's crazy. And in Mexico City, your hometown.
My hometown, yes. My pride and joy. Mexicosity.
Rounded up
Um,
number five. So.
what I did notice about the food there though was that no matter what I ate, I like didn't feel all bloated and stuff. Like I felt pretty good there.
Yeah, I think the food there is way better. And I think the process and a lot of the stuff that we do here, they don't really do there, which is
Yeah.
for better or for worse. It's better. It's definitely better.
Yeah, it tasted a lot better and I didn't feel like garbage afterwards. And the coffee there obviously is very good.
Mhm. I'm not much of a coffee drinker, but I did have coffee while I was there because they drink it with everything.
Well, the time difference like screwed me up. Again, I can't even remember what the time difference was now. All I know is when we got there, I was like, "Whoa!" It
Well, from here
was weird.
it's only about 4 hours from here.
So it's the same as New York.
Well, no, because New York is only going to be a 3 hour difference.
Oh, 3 hours, yeah. Well, still that 4 hour stuff throws me off. Even the 3 hours with New York throws me off.
Well, no, it
What?
does. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that 4 hours is nothing. You know, 4 hours is something to sneeze at, but but I'm just saying. I mean, it's not like you went to Europe where it's like you're talking 8 or 9
Days.
hours. Yeah,
Oh.
days.
Okay, never mind. Let's not. I told you, if we talk about anything out of the United States, I'm very, very much uneducated in that.
Well, what would a day be? I think Australia.
Australia.
That would probably be like a day difference, I guess.
Another shrimp on the barbie.
Exactly. See, so you know something about it.
What was I gonna say? And then another thing too was the when we're in this city, like once we saw these little animals, like monkey type things that were like on the fences. And I told someone I saw them and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "No, I swear I saw them." And they're like, "We haven't seen him the whole time we're here." And then I could never find him again.
Really?
Yeah, it was really weird. But another thing too is when
Pretty
we
northern
went
Kansas
in
City.
June or July, I forget. But it's winter there.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense because we're on the other side of the
Hemisphere
yeah yeah. So once you cross over the
or
equator,
the equator. Dang it, man.
no, no,
Oh,
no, no. You're right, but you're right though. So we
oh
live in
okay.
the northern hemisphere. They live in the southern.
Oh,
So
okay,
if you
good.
cross that line, then it's going to be the opposite season. So
Yeah.
yeah, you went in the wintertime, which is not a bad time to go because their winter is still very mild.
Oh yeah, it was
In
nice.
fact, it's even milder than Tucson's winters.
Yeah, I wore like just a windbreaker.
And that was it.
Yes, Aaron. I walked around the city with just a windbreaker, nothing else. I was the talk of the town.
I bet.
And surprisingly, I didn't offend too many people.
They're like, we're used to it.
What is it called? It's like the Brazilian Mardi Gras
Carnival.
Carnival, yeah. Yeah, I remember they were when we were learning Portuguese, they had us download a news app. And they were like, "Well, just be careful because right now all it is about carnival and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, maybe I don't want to hear about that."
Yeah, the first time I went, it was actually during Carnival because the whole country just shuts down.
Oh wow,
Well,
that's there were some soccer games going on when we were there too. I think.
Mhm. Oh my
And
God, soccer. Yeah, obviously, soccer, aka football, the real football is obviously huge there. It's huge
yeah,
everywhere outside the United States, but yeah, they are very passionate about their soccer teams. So I did
yeah.
go to a game.
Usually the conventions that we have for those once every 4 years, they are at soccer stadiums or other stadiums. But because there was tournaments going on, we met in a different area.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, I think we went to go get like there's like side shops or whatever you can go into,
Hmm.
and you have to like scan in to go into it.
Oh, okay.
You get like a little chip or something,
Hmm.
and then you use that to exit. So I guess you don't steal anything.
Oh,
But
okay.
they were watching a game, and they were all just sitting in there. It was kind of like a bar, but in like what would be like a Circle K.
Hmm.
It
Mm,
was just it was interesting.
okay. Different.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? But yeah. So you were talking about the smaller towns?
Um, yeah. So are you talking about like? So you want me to give what, like my story from?
Yeah.
So the first time I went, as I mentioned, I went to Rio. Um, and I think we did. No, we just did Rio. No, I think it was just Rio on that first trip, right? So then I went to this other state in Brazil called Alagoas, um, and we went to the capital, which is called Maceió. And there, it's that city is right on the equator. It's a very poor state. Um, and so the family I stayed with, it was the husband, wife, and their daughter. Um, it was one of those interesting South American homes that where the walls and the ceiling don't meet. The ceiling hangs over, so it goes over the top, and the wall goes close to the ceiling, but they don't touch. So there's a gap in between. So to fill the gap, they took a wire mesh and put it around there. So when I get there and they pick me up from the airport to bring me back to their house, I'm sitting there looking at this house. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And it's right now, their house is like right on the edge of this jungle. So like you have their house and then you have this jungle, not a huge one. Like you
Hmm.
can walk through it in 10 minutes if you go straight through. And then you got the beach right there. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so it's right here on the edge. And the first night we were there, we were sitting at the table and they had a meal and it was dark. One of the disadvantages of being on the equator is that the sun comes up at 5 every day and goes down at 5 every day. And there isn't much variation throughout the entire year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
That's pretty early.
it is very early. I was not happy about that, but whatever. It is what it is. So we're sitting there at their table eating dinner and they have the light on, and there are bugs flying everywhere. Like it's a cloud of bugs flying around the light, and they got the door open too. And they were telling me, they were like, "Oh, we hope you enjoy your stay or whatever. You have to sleep with a mosquito net." So they were letting me know, and I was like, "Yeah, I heard. So you have to show me how it works."
Oh
and,
yeah.
and then they said, "You're not afraid of any of these bugs and stuff, right?" And I said, "Not really." I said, "The only thing I don't care for is spiders or tarantulas and stuff like that." And and so the wife goes, "Oh, well, since December, mind you, I'm this is January when I'm there. Since December, we've probably had about 30 or 40 in the house."
Oh man.
My heart dropped. I was like, "What have I done?" And I was stuck here for a month, mind you. And this is day one.
Oh man.
Inside, I was crying like a little girl, but I was like, "Okay, let's keep it together, Aaron." But it was an interesting experience. So the first week I was there, I didn't see any, fortunately. But what did I see the first week? Oh, there's month. Oh, well, let me finish. Let me talk about the tarantulas first. So first week I didn't see any. The second week I did see one, and it was right above my bed. So if for those who don't know what the mosquito net is, it's a net that's you wrap it up and you put it over your bed when you're not using it. When you are using it, it's attached to the ceiling. So you just unfold it and then you bring it down and you tuck it under your mattress. And that keeps the mosquitoes out because mosquitoes carry all types of crap. And so you don't want to get bit by them. And so when I was standing, I stood on top of my bed to reach up to pull the net down. And that's when I saw the tarantula. Um,
As he looks behind him,
you see, I'm looking
just to
around
make
like
sure.
those things. Well, they live in Tucson too.
Yeah.
But I reach up to go grab the net, and there's one right there. And of course, I fall back off the bed, and I'm like
Ugh.
yelling like "Alan," which is the guy's name. I was like, "You got to kill this thing." So he does. He just throws his flip flop at it, and it kills it because spiders have exoskeletons. They're pretty easy to kill. So that one was and he swept it up and took it away. But he
Ugh.
was like, "This is a baby." Like, really, dude? And then I saw another one. We were having a movie night. This was like the end of week 2, beginning of week 3. We're having a movie night, and so we're watching this movie. And behind the
Arachnophobia.
no, absolutely not. Not in that setting. I couldn't watch that. And right behind the TV, I saw these legs moving. Sure enough, it was one. I was like, "Stop the movie." I was like, "Alan, you got to kill that." And so once again, he threw his flip flop, got the thing, killed it, or whatever.
And this is all in Portuguese.
Okay, so the family did speak English,
Oh, okay.
but everyone else, so all the friends and stuff, they obviously didn't speak English. So all their friends didn't speak English. Maybe a few words here or there, and then but most of this was in Portuguese. But my interaction with them was in English. Um, so yeah, so that was crazy. Oh, the showering. So um, what we did was we filled up a bucket and brought it into the shower, and that was kind of the water you use with the cup to kind of like rinse off and stuff. So the thing is, there is a shower in there, but the shower head is actually under normal under normal circumstances is plugged up into an outlet.
What?
Yeah, I know it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Ridiculous. Or battery operated, one of the two. So I've seen both. I've seen some that are plugged up because that's what heats the water. So the water isn't heated. When it hits the shower, when it gets inside of the shower head has a heating element in it. And that's what warms up your shower. Well,
Huh.
theirs was broke. So you can take a cold shower or
Ugh.
you can, you know, fill up your bucket with some warm water that you heat up on the stove and then use that to kind of shower, makeshift
Yeah.
shower. So that was how we did had to do it. You wear flip flops in the shower because sometimes frogs will be in there for whatever reason. I have no idea. They just decided to randomly show up in there sometimes.
They just
Um,
like the water.
yeah, yeah. I guess they just like the water; it attracts them or something. So yeah, that was interesting. I had to get used to that. Um, so when it comes to clothes, so everything is hand washed. So now fortunately, my grandma kind of prepared me for this because when I was a kid, when I would go over there, a lot of times she would wash a lot of stuff on a scrub board in the tub.
Uh-huh.
Ain't primarily clothes that you're not supposed to just throw into the machine. So she would use a and this scrub board, right? And then she would show me how to hang stuff on the clothesline because she had a clothesline in the backyard. So those skills came in handy because that's how I had to wash my clothes. The couple did not, or the family did not have a washer and dryer. And the reason why is because the beach is so close, the salt air would eat up it would rust the washer and dryer. It would like rust them and destroy their motors.
Oh wow.
So they wouldn't last that long. So it was no use in spending all the money on one to just last you a couple of years. And they're fairly expensive. So everything was by hand. So which was fine. Like I said, I was already prepared. I knew how to do it. I knew how to dry my clothes. I mean, there's a certain way that you can actually hang your clothes, like your button-up shirts and stuff, in a way where they'll dry and they'll be straight. You don't even have to iron them.
Huh.
Same thing with all your clothes, pants and everything. There's a certain way to do it. So I already knew how to do that. You shake them out and a certain way you pin them. So I was happy and proud of myself for at least knowing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of Alan's, again, he's the husband, one of his side jobs. And sorry if am I going too long? Am
No.
okay. Let me know.
Also, I keep
Talking
hearing
too
this
much.
echo in myself anyway, so it's probably better if you talk. Oh
Okay.
wait, I'm not hearing it anymore. I think.
Okay.
Echo. Sorry.
I never heard an echo from you though.
It's because it's on my end. It's because I had these two micro. Anyways.
Oh, okay. Um, but yeah, so anyway, one day, so one of Alan's side jobs was he makes sausage and sells it to different markets around the town that he lived in.
Is that why you don't like hot dogs?
No, it's not. I didn't like those before. Um, so he said, well, "Hey, you want to take a trip to the meat market with me?"
So you have the sausages made.
So he goes and gets. So we go to the meat market. Now, have you ever, like in the States, have you ever been to like a butcher shop where they had like the carcasses of the cows that are
I
supposed?
watched Rocky. Does that count?
Yeah. So you know how all that stuff is hanging and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how this was. But imagine it being outdoors and not refrigerated.
Ooh, does it smell really bad?
Oh, it smelled terrible.
Oh gosh.
It did. Now they did have some refrigeration in certain areas, but it was almost like you know how you go to like a street fair and there's
Yeah.
different vendors and everyone has their food. Well, that's how
Uh-huh.
this was. This is like an outdoor street fair, but it's with raw meat and it's just sitting there. It was disgusting. It was and coming from somebody who worked in food service here in America, that crap
It's
would
like,
not have
"Ah!
flown.
Ah!"
That would not have flown here at all. That would have got shut down immediately. But anyway, so we're walking through. We're walking through this, and like there's these troughs, or I don't know what you call them, but they're like, yeah, I think it's like a trough, right?
Yeah, just like a smaller one. This is we're like draining blood or something.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
if you imagine everyone, so like let's just say you got vendors, right? And there's like let's just say it's three vendors here, right? Where they're all sharing a trough and blood is just leaking down into this trough, streaming down the this is so nasty. And then I saw this dog and he had a chicken foot in his mouth. He was walking around with it with this chicken foot in his mouth. It just looked so weird because I had the claws all sticking. I was just like, why? Why am I seeing it? He sat down and was chewing on it, and I just got sick. I was just like, oh, let's get what you got to get, and let's get out of here. And it was so funny because like later on, like a couple of days, maybe like a week later, he asked me, he's like, hey, I got to go back to the market to grab some more. Do you want to go with me? I was like, nope, have fun. I'll stay here. Thank you. So, and that actually kind of segues into another adventure. So one day everyone left, um, and I was there by myself, and I woke up probably like around I don't know 7:30 or so, and I come downstairs, and there's like this, and I'm trying to go to the restroom, and there's the front door is you have to walk past the front door to get there. Well, the front door is open, and there's this monkey hanging on the door, staring at me. And I'm like, what in the heck is going on? And then I finished waking, like I take a step back and I'm like waking up and I'm looking up and then I see like two or three other ones like behind him, just chilling, hanging on the door, like waiting for some food. So what they forgot to tell me, so there's these monkeys, the family of monkeys that live in the jungle that surrounds their house, right? And there's this big giant tree in the front yard. And every morning the wife goes out and she puts fruit on the tree. Like she'll take a banana and peel it open or some other fruit and cut it up and put it there. And the monkeys come and get it. And they do that twice a day, breakfast and dinner.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Does
they're
it stop them from stealing from their tree?
no, they're capable of doing it themselves. You shouldn't feed wild animals. They're capable of taking care of themselves. But when you do, they start to expect around that time. So they didn't leave any food for the monkeys this particular morning. So if you don't leave any food for them at the tree, then they'll come to the house.
Oh my gosh.
They will show up at the front
The
door. Like
slumlord monkey will show up.
he will, and that's what happened. And so you had him. He was just hanging there staring at me like, "Where's our food?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know where your food is, but I'm just trying to go to the bathroom, and you in the way. You get out the way so I can go to the bathroom." Yeah, that was crazy. It was insanity. Eventually, they did come back, and she had food with her, so she went and fed the monkeys, and they were fine. But yeah, don't feed wild animals, people. Don't feed wild animals. They can take care of themselves.
Let them starve.
No, there's plenty of stuff in the trees. There's mangoes. There's all types of stuff. But let them pick
You
it.
never know when it'll come in handy. I mean, you can start a monkey army.
That's true. That's true.
Guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, I guess if there were some dangerous animals in the area, they would probably try to save me. But these things were kind of small too. I don't know how much they could have done except sacrifice themselves to give you some
Sacrifice
more
himself.
time. They were
How
kind
many
of
monkeys does he have to eat before he doesn't eat me?
right, exactly. They were kind of small, but
Just throwing monkeys at the.
oh man, dude, it was
Uh,
crazy. But yeah, so that was the experience with that. Now, as far as the people were concerned, so we lived in one part of town where I stayed at, and then a lot of friends of the family lived in other parts of town. So there was this one family, and by the way, like I said, if I'm going too long, stop me.
You're at 57 minutes, but it's fine.
Oh, we're at 57 minutes already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, should we start wrapping this up?
Well, you still have to tell your story. I mean, I want to hear.
Okay.
If
So
anything, I'll just cut it out.
okay. So
You can't end on like killing monkeys, Aaron. That's
I
not a
didn't I
good. That's
didn't
not a
kill.
good place to end your business stories.
Okay, so there was a family there. Okay, so I'll tell you this other story real quickly. There was a family there who lived in a different part of town. I had to take the bus there, and they don't have street names. You have to tell the bus driver where you want to get off at based on what's there. Let me off at the roundabout second exit near the mango tree that's lopsided. Like you have to give directions as far as
Wow.
yeah, there's no streets. So I hopped on the bus and took the bus into the town where there was a family living. It was quite a few people there, but one family who I was going to hang out with. So this family was four people. It was the husband, wife, and the two kids. I think they were like 16 and like 12 at the time, whatever. And so took the bus down there because they wanted to hang out, ask me a bunch of questions about America. They were really excited. So we hung out for the day, went to the beach. They showed me like some of the interesting wildlife there, like the crabs. And there was like sea urchins and all types of stuff that they pointed out to me. So yeah, that was pretty fun. Um, so anyway, I get back and and it's getting late at this point, and I'm like, okay, well, see y'all. I got to go. Got to get on the bus and head back, right?
Hmm.
And they're like, oh, well, it's kind of late and it's dark and you don't want to go by yourself. You should just stay here. And then, and when Alan, who's where I'm staying at, when he's gonna come down tomorrow, so he can just bring your stuff tomorrow. I did not want to stay. because their house, number one, their house was about, oh, let me see, maybe, okay, their house, their entire house was maybe about the size of your living room,
Oh wow.
and there's no individual rooms except the bathroom. The only individual room, the room is divided up by curtains. So you have the kids' room, the parents' room, but it's just curtains hanging from the ceiling that are dividing everything up. Right? They have bunk beds. That's what the two kids have, and so they say, "Hey, you take the bottom bunk, and the 12-year-old, the two brothers slept together on the top bunk, and I took the bottom bunk." So they pull their mosquito net down, and since I'm on the bottom bunk, I'm the one who has to tuck it in, but it has holes in it.
Ooh.
So all night I'm getting ate up by mosquitoes, and I have a sheet. That's all I have. Now at where I was staying, I had a fan, and so the fan, I would turn the fan on and aim it towards the bed so I can at least get a breeze kind of flowing because there's no AC. That's probably obvious based on the stories I've told. There's no AC here. Well, they didn't have no fans going, so it was just hot, stale, sticky air. I mean, they're right on the beach, right? And so it was just so like, oh, so stale. So I couldn't sleep. It was too hot. And if I pulled the sheet over my head, the mosquitoes would eat my feet. And
Oh man.
if I covered my feet, they would be buzzing in my ears. So I didn't get any sleep. To make matters worse, one of the holes in this net is so big that there's something, I would say around 2 in the morning, roughly, something furry jumped in through one of the holes and started
Oh
brushing up
my
against my feet.
gosh.
I had no idea what it was. So I did what anyone would do in that situation, and that was scream as loud as you can. I was like, what in the heck is this? Once, and so I woke everyone up, of course, because we're all really in the same room. I mean, curtains are not going to dampen any type of sound. It was their cat.
Oh man.
So
Oh.
normally, like I told you, the 12-year-old, that's his bed. So
Yeah.
normally in the middle of the night, the cat jumps in the bed with him. Well, that night, the cat got quite a
You got
surprise.
surprised.
So did I. So I woke everyone up, but I apologize. But then they were like, "Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you the cat." I was like, "Yeah,
At least you didn't kick it.
it might have got kicked. It might have got kicked because I did not hesitate to because I didn't know what it was. It's pitch
Oh my
dark.
gosh. Yeah. Well, that freaked
So
me
if you
out.
feel something furry rubbing up against you, you don't have time to say, "Okay, is that a cat?"
Is this a
No,
cat?
whatever animal it is is about to get my foot right up. Well, anyway, so yeah, that was an interesting story. So the next morning, it was funny. They're like, "Did you sleep fine?" And I was like, eyes all bloodshot and puffy. I didn't hardly sleep at all, but I still appreciated their kindness at least for letting me stay there. But so yeah, Alan brought my stuff the next morning. Oh, but for breakfast, it was really interesting. So for breakfast, we had like this. Have you ever had 7 grain cereal before?
No, I've had 7 grain bread. Is that a thing?
Okay, exactly. So it's the same thing, only you basically take like an oatmeal, like a hot cereal,
Mm-hmm.
add all those grains into it.
Okay.
So it's disgusting. So that was what was for breakfast.
Jeez, man. I'm not inviting you over ever. Like this hospitality was terrible.
Dude, I'm just telling you the truth. I ate it. I ate it. I mean, there was a lot of fiber. It was like, oh my god, it was like eating sawdust. It was terrible. But again, I appreciated the kindness. Here's the funny thing. Okay, so they figure, okay, this is an American guy. He's a hefty guy. He probably eats a lot. So they gave me
Oh
huge,
no.
and I had to keep saying no, no. I just want a little bit. And then I told him, I said, for breakfast, I normally only have a little something. I don't even eat breakfast, really, to tell you the truth. I was making up everything so that they would not. And so and you don't want to be rude because they're very hospitable people, very
Yeah.
kind, and they're very
Uh-huh.
humble. They don't have much, but they share everything they have. So there's
Yeah.
a fine line that you have to draw because you shouldn't turn down because it looks like you're being ungrateful. But at the same time, it was nasty as trash. So it was just like, oh.
My gosh, Aaron.
Lunch was better though. We had shark, fried
Shark?
fried shark.
Tubarão?
Mm-hmm. Tubarão. It's fried. It was good. That was really good. Fried
You're
shark.
like, can we have this for breakfast and
Right,
lunch?
right, exactly. Yeah, it was good. It just tastes like fried fish, which I guess that's what it is, right? But it was just these huge pieces. But it was good though. It was good. So anyway, that's just a couple of stories. I have some more, but maybe I'll share those. Save some another one of those for a future episode.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, that's interesting.
But
Like I said, you had a more of an experience than I did.
it was
Mine was very much like touristy.
Would you believe me if I told you that my feet still have like are still scarred up from all the mosquito bites?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, my feet still. Well, yeah, you wouldn't have probably seen it, but my my feet are still. They still have spots on them because they got destroyed by the mosquitoes. Destroyed. They were swollen, and to this day, this is 10 years ago since that first trip, and to this day, there's still marks on my feet from that. So who knows what I have living inside of me? Probably some type of parasites or something.
Did you get this was yellow fever shot?
I did not. I didn't get any shots. I didn't
Oh, you
get
see, I
anything.
got that before we went.
You know,
That was the weirdest experience ever.
well, they do recommend it, but I just didn't do it.
I
But
think it's required now.
maybe it is a requirement now. But
Oh,
back,
maybe it's not. I don't know. We just got it just to be careful because I was like, I'd rather not die on my trip.
it's a precaution, and it depends on what areas you're going to. Where I was going, I definitely could have definitely used that.
Uh huh.
In Rio, if you're staying into the like, if you're going to be in like the major cities, I don't think it's as big of a deal. I think y'all just took an extra safety precaution just in case.
Well, another thing too is I wasn't really completely sure what we were going to be doing, and I'm more open to like doing just stuff spontaneously. So if we met someone, they were like, "Hey, let's go here," and I didn't want to be like, "Oh, I can't because I might die."
Right, right, right. Exactly. So if you're gonna be in the city and you know you're gonna stay in the city, then it's probably not necessary. But if you know you're gonna be kind of off going off the beaten path,
Uh huh.
then yeah, you definitely wanna
We
keep
kind
that
of we kind of did that one night, but we took a bus there, and it was cold, and the front window fogged up, and somehow the guy was still driving the bus, and I have no idea how. And it was like, I was just praying. I was like, I think we're gonna die.
well, I have a story like that too. But again, we'll save it for a future one. But I almost got
Brazilian bus drivers are where it's at.
yeah.
They're the masters of.
Well, you think a bus is bad. Think well, what about a taxi? I was in a taxi and that was terrible. There is footage somewhere, and I'll see if I can find it, where I was recording a video message in case I died. Um, and I got to see where I have it saved at. But I was recording. I said, in case I die, I want y'all to know this is how it happened. But yeah, again, we'll save that story for another day. But overall, it was a great experience. I did go back, um, loved it. What the moral of the story is, when you're around, very humble and caring people, it rubs off on you. And there wasn't a lot of technology to distract us. So whenever we hung out, we hung out. There's no phones. There's no one texting. There's
Yeah.
no one on Instagram. There's no one on all these, distractions that we have here. Everyone is there and they're present. And
Uh-huh.
so as a result, that short time the 4 weeks that I was there, I got so close to a lot of the friends that were there that by the time it was time to go, I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
We're all teary eyed and stuff. But I really bonded with them. So I look forward to I do look forward to when we can finally be around each other and not be so distracted by stuff.
Yeah.
The only time we really experience it now is during power outages.
And even then, you're just like, when am I gonna get this back?
Right, exactly. So, yeah, but yeah, good times.
Yeah, that's what I noticed from the little bit that I did meet people was that everyone was really friendly. And I've met friendly people before, obviously. I've met really friendly people before, but this was just like on like a different level, and I don't know how to describe it, but
Mhm.
it's just one of those things you kind of have to experience.
Agreed.
It's
Absolutely.
kind of like, yeah. And the it was partying without the insanity, if that makes sense. It was just like a general enjoyment of people's company and like dancing and
Hmm.
music. And it's not like concerts here where everyone's just like going crazy. And stuff. It was just like everyone was having a good time, and you could just like, I don't know, just enjoy it.
Hmm.
The music was cool too.
Yeah.
So that was my experience. We talked about your experience, and hopefully another time we will talk a little bit more about your near-death experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a short but sweet story. I think you'll.
If you would like to be part of Aaron's will, feel free to just DM us,
Exactly.
and we'll see what little piece of anything you can get from him. He is currently wearing a Nintendo 64 shirt, size large or extra large.
This is extra large. I wear everything extra large these days since we've been in this coronavirus. I blame everything on the virus.
Well, it's funny because you gave me a jacket, and now I fit in it. So hey,
Yeah, everything I buy now is extra large. I've done nothing but gain weight during this time. But whatever.
yeah,
I'll lose it when it's time.
I'm sure you'll find it again. I always tell people that. That's the best thing. If someone says they lost 5 pounds, just tell them I think you'll find it again. But yeah. And I didn't even have time. Should I say my short story real quick? It's very short. My story for the day.
No.
Okay, we'll save it.
Next episode.
Okay.
We need all the material.
All the material we can get. Somehow we got an hour and 11 minutes out of this. So.
Right, exactly. So
Awesome. Thank you for listening to this episode of Two Crazy Scoops. I am Antino with AO. Next week, we will discuss more topics, and not even we know what we're going to be talking about, so we're just as surprised as you are. So enjoy the 15-minute episodes coming up in a couple days, and we'll see you guys later. Also, if you have anything you want to say to Aaron, just there you go.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.